Brenda and Cassidy came up with, and they're both amazing.
No.
So hopefully, as far as I know, that will listen. And we're gonna have a lot of it's like those difference.
Yeah.
You know, so, but everything there is in really good spirits, really in a good place. Excited about
We did just love this.
So we're sure, so, yeah, it's happening. Sorry, but
I was going to say, Richard, so you have
yeah, we have 18. Nice. And their kids that are under that have them in.
I was always excited.
I know, I love it. And there's 6th graders running. I just think it's
Well, that's one of the
cute.
biggest reasons.
Yeah, so then they have 3 things now. So it's seasonal, they're involved, yeah, races going well.
It's good.
Yeah, the kids are happy. Yeah, it's good.
I think
So far.
right. That's right. I had to do some impersonations. When nobody's around. There it is.
I can imagine my grandfather's in 3rd grade and she's like, the sweetest thing ever.
Like things that a kid gave me a dinosaur. You know, things like that.
Oh, and yeah, Richard.
Yes, I sure. I just saw.
You know.
Oh, I can't feel it. Christine, Richard, no, it's just Richard, and then above Richard is you and I. And I don't know. Christy was the one, she said. Okay. Maybe that's.
So you're saying it's not.
So you want me to I didn't even really look at it.
I know, just kind of pacing.
Yeah. We haven't checked.
That's okay.
But we said we would go on our agenda.
Okay, it's 6:05. I'd like to go ahead and call our meeting to order. First order of business is roll call. If you would say present or here, I'll give you a shout out. Bill? Here. Ricardo? Here. Crystal? Second for Crystal. Richard?
Here.
Heidi? Christy? And chair's here. So we do have a quorum. If you would join me for a flag salute, pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody. First is agenda consideration. Would take a motion to go forward with as it was presented.
I'll move that we accept tonight's board agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Bill?
Aye.
Ricardo?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes for. We will go with as it's presented. Public comment submitted. We didn't have any submitted. So as of now, unless somebody wants to speak from the audience, we will move forward. Hearing none, we'll move forward. Board shout out, actually board communication. First thing, I just wanted to welcome from the board all of the students and families back to North Marion. Offer a thank you for hanging in there with us. A welcome back to a very different start of the year this year than we had last year. And just say that attending back to school parents' night was absolutely great because it seemed really normal, which was a good thing. So anyway, I just wanted to welcome our families and our students back and wish them a really good, successful, normal year, if that's possible. Board shout out, I reached out to some folks here in the district, and I would like to make this kind of a regular part of giving a shout out to folks who are doing exceptional things here in the district. So I have a statement here that I would like to read. These are not in order of building, but kind of in order of how I received them back in my email this morning. So this is from the intermediate, the instructional leadership team, ELD coaches, front staff and staff, front office staff went above and beyond this summer to help Principal Dave Sheldon, an administrator new to this building, put in place a lot of support that allowed us to successfully begin our year. They were always responsive to needs and requests and put in many extra hours to help organize class schedules, as well as unpack 8 pallets of ELA curriculum materials and make sure that their teams were prepped with all these items. We could not have done it without them. So a huge shout out to Diana McElliott, Maria Sisko, Brianne Knudsen, Deanna McCarthy, Bethany Stoltz, Alicia Fritz, Peggy Casto, and Mary Lopez. They're absolutely amazing people with incredible passion for our community and students and staff. From the primary school, we would like to recognize and support the instructional leaders, Tiffany Kolowitz, Jamie Boal, Amy Miller, Lindsay Mendez, instructional mentor Kimberly Rhodes, and building buddies Darla Boswell, Meredith Aiken, Caitlin Harvick, and Shanti Peachy have given to our new staff. They have created a great sense of community within our staff and ensured that our first days of school have been smooth for students and families. From our middle school, we would like to recognize Gwen Lang, middle school secretary, Giovanna Ortiz, middle school secretary, and Elvia Espinoza, middle school family liaison, for getting all but 9 families set up in Parent Square. They understand the importance of communication with parents, the home language, and they made it happen. And from the high school, we'd like to give a shout out to our secretaries, Laura Perez, Anita Whitehead, and Chelsea Degman. These ladies came together as a team to work together, learn together, and support each other for the start of our school year. They focused on our staff, students, parents, and I would like to make them feel welcomed and supported. So on behalf of the board, thank you to those people for communicating this. I really appreciate it. So, a couple of things on board communication. You have the links there on some of them. I'll call out a couple of them. So Diane brought it to my attention today that OSBA fall regional meetings are taking place, and our region meets at WSD, I believe, on October 6th. Is that correct? So if you guys want to attend that, I've been with you before, Heidi. So if you guys want to attend those, they're just usually in Salem. I'm assuming that's where we're going to end up at.
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
At the ESD.
So kind of a shout out to that. let me cover one more thing from OSBA stand, which is the annual convention, which is now open. Registration is now open. There's a link there. Diane can help you with navigating that if you need her to. It's November 11th through the 13th. And I don't know if you want to say a couple words on it, Billy. You've been really involved as kind of representative on the state level.
Sure. First, going back to the last topic, I'm
Sure.
supposed to be one of the hosts for our October 6th meeting, but sadly I'll be in Bend for the League of Cities conference that day, so I won't be attending that one, which I think is the first time in years I've missed the regional meeting, but it's just going to cover the up and coming legislative session and what OSBA's policy committee has decided are the priorities, and then take any questions. As for the convention, it's going to be great to be back, but still at the Marriott, full day of stuff. The pre-conference looks very interesting, although for the life of me, I can't remember the person's name. The board member studying. So I'll be there, and of course, as the OSB board member, I'll be hosting a number of the workshops. So looking forward to being back. Don't forget to sign up for one of the breakfasts that includes policy, and I think the other one is small school districts are the two topics for the breakfast session. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. So I went a little bit out of order there, but I'm not sure if it's Deanne and Bill. Are you introducing our student or ASB board representatives?
We would like to introduce two of the members from ASB, our ASB president, Yara, and our vice president is Emily. And they're here to talk about our school and things that have been happening. It's going to happen.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Yadira Navarro. I'm the Associated Student Body President.
And my name is Kelly DeBrava. I am the ASB Vice President.
So we're here to give a quick little report about all the different clubs and like what they've been doing recently. So we'll kick it off with the Associated Student Body. We were able to host the club fair during student registration. So that was when we invited a lot of different clubs to come out and kind of display what they're all about. We had them create signups for students who came in during registration to sign up for those clubs and kind of check what that club has to offer throughout the school year. And then ASB was also able to help out during freshman orientation. So ASB kind of had small little groups where they got together and kind of share their experience about their high school career and, you know, the different clubs, sports, and everything that the high school has to offer over to the freshmen. So we were able to help out with that. Then we had our first welcome back assembly on Friday. We had it over at the football field, and that's actually the first time that we've had a welcome back assembly at the football field since 2019. So that was very fun. And then some quick little updates and dates to look out for in the future. The senior class is going to be having a dance on September the 23rd. That will be right after the football game that will be played against Corbett. So if there are any students that are interested in attending the stands, there are more than welcome to go. I believe tickets are $5 per student. And then ASB itself is planning for homecoming, which will be held sometime in October, either the 1st or 2nd week.
Okay, so for our Key Club, we are working on recruiting new members right now. We actually had our first meeting of the school year this morning during advisory, and we had really good attendance. So we're hoping to have a lot of new members. We are running concessions at the football game on the 23rd. So that'll help bring in the profits, will help bring in some money to our Key Club. And we are also looking for other like community service events as well. For FBLA, they're also recruiting new members and have their first meeting Thursday the 15th in Gym 1. They'll be having Big Brother, Big Sister with their primary school with Mrs. Boswell, and one more classroom as well. That's to be decided.
And then for MECHA, they will be meeting this Friday, the 16th, with Ms. Terrell here in the Media Center. So if there are any students who are interested in joining MECHA, they're more than welcome to attend that first meeting. And then as for Future Farmers of America, they will be having their first meeting on Wednesday at 7 p.m. in Mrs. Stoddard's room. So if there are any students who are interested in that club, they are more than welcome to attend that first meeting. And then yearbook, the yearbooks for the 2021 through 2022 school year have finally arrived. So if there are any students who still need to pick up their yearbook for that, they can go ahead and talk with Ms. Bailey, that way they can pick it up. Or if there are students who missed out on ordering one, they can go ahead and purchase one at the front office. I believe it's $70. So if they're interested in getting a yearbook, they can go up to the front office.
Okay, this year we're really excited because Drama Club will be back and they're actually putting on a play that's called Working, yeah. So they're working on developing their cast and crew. They'll be having their first meeting Monday. I think that got changed. They'll be having their first meeting Monday the 19th. And they're definitely looking for a lot of new people. And they're having their auditions for the musical Working. And if you want more info, to contact Carol Reed.
And then for robotics, if there are any students who are interested in learning what robotics is all about, how to drive a robot or just anything robot related, they can attend the first meeting, which will be on Wednesday the 14th in room D1 with the advisor, Ms. Moran. And then for future references, all club meetings for robotics will be held after school from 3 to 5 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then that's our report for the different clubs that we have at the high school. You guys have any questions for us?
No, that's awesome. I love to hear all that. It's great.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks for coming. Moving along to 2E, leadership team. Do we have anybody here? As part of our new contract language, we would extend an invitation for them to be on board meetings. So we'll move on to 2F, overnight field trip acknowledgement. District FFA Leadership Camp is going to be gone September 25th through the 26th of 2022. And that's just an acknowledgement by the board of those things. We don't need to vote on that. So moving along to item number 3, consent agenda. If you guys have had a chance to review that, I would entertain motions.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Prior to that, I didn't ask you, Greg, are we good on everything? Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that. So moving along to that vote, Bill?
Aye.
Ricardo?
Aye.
Crystal?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
And chair votes for. Business budget and appropriations, item number 4. So I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, Glenn. As usual, I won't have the big spreadsheets ready now. We haven't completed our audit, so last year isn't final and not a lot happens in the summer. Although this summer we did have a lot that happened. We had the retro payout for licensed confidential and administrators. So next month, I'm hoping to have a resolution to change the appropriations and move money out of the reserve account in order to cover that payroll that we just paid out in August. That wasn't budgeted for. So there'll be that, and then there'll be a small change for the PERS-UAL bond. They had given us preliminary numbers. Now we have the real numbers, so it's off by just a few $1,000s. So I just wanted to let you know that that's coming, and hopefully for your October meeting, I'll have more put together.
Any questions for Linda? Thanks for being here tonight. Much appreciated.
Yep.
Next item is district operations and superintendents.
Correct. Well, I just thought I would take a moment to celebrate our summer programs. We don't usually get to talk about it during the summer because we don't have the board meetings while it happened. Very successful this year. The high school credit completion program was a huge success. Students that participated completed one or more courses that they hadn't finished during the high school year. So now they can move forward with their regular high school program and not lose ground. The summer programs at the elementary school, sponsored by Migrant Ed and staffed with our staff, and the middle school AVID program were also successful this year. So because these programs run with staff and volunteers, we want to acknowledge and say thank you to all the people that participated in that this year. And that includes bus drivers as well, because they're also, they're not our employees per se, but they are critical partners and key to our success of getting students back and forth to these programs. So thank you again to everyone. Also this summer, we restructured our administrative team to focus all of our efforts towards supporting building principals, so they in turn can directly support teachers and students and focus their energy on supporting skills and talent development of not only teachers, but students. Instructional coaches' roles and responsibilities were also updated. We had a new staff orientation. It went very well, and we met an excellent set of new employees, and we look forward to their positivity and energy that they're bringing to all our schools. In-service week was excellent. District kickoff with Bill De La Cruz was a big hit. Lots of compliments. Diane did a great job of putting it all together. Thank you, Diane. The Stingers catered for us, and that was a really nice treat to have community members provide the food for the entire staff. All staff members attended. It was good to have board members present at all of our kickoff activities, so special thanks to Heidi and Bill Rob and Glenn for being present at virtually all the events that we did. It made a difference. One important thing that happened in the in-service time was that teachers received training to use the new English language arts adoption materials, which was critically important. Back to school night was a huge success. Again, Heidi, Glenn, and Bill represented the board at the event. There was lots of good positive energy at that event. As a security update, we're hiring an additional campus monitor as a temporary employee until Mitch returns, which we hope will be very soon. Also, I met with Marion County Sheriff's Office Officer Parisi. He was the first person on site for the incident that happened in June. We debriefed the event together. Of note, he praised our staff for their response. We are the first school to have that type of event, so there are no cases to refer to for comparison. He says most situations have a unique element and that our staff responded appropriately. We have, however, revised our planned training to reflect the lessons from the event. District communications is a highlight this year. It's really important for us to make sure that they're more frequent and more two-way communication occurring. One of the ways in which we help facilitate that process easily for our staff is to provide a platform that they can use that is a two-way platform. Parent Square is that platform. And I received weekly reports on exactly who and how many communications went out. And there were 38 posts this week using Parent Square. There were 601 direct messages. The top post authors this week were Anita Whitehead, Remy Strapp, Caitlin Harbrick, Melanie Twilliger, and Tammy Bodden. And we get the report that out of the 1,733 students registered at the district, we can reach 1,671. That's a 96% reach. And then it gives us a report of the people that we can't reach and helps us facilitate ways in which we can try to connect those two. One of the key differences between Parent Squares and others is that it's two-way. When we send a message, they can reply right back with that. They don't have to read an email and then get on the phone or get on the computer and try to type a message. It's direct. And all of that information is archived, which is a key. State requires us to archive all communications between staff and the community and teachers. Whether individual communications or not, we all have to have them archived. This happens automatically with Parent Square. If not, then we have to go into a teacher's account and pull all of the emails that they sent all year. And we don't want to do that. This makes it nice and clean. Two things, our Major Club dancers will be performing at the Dakota Equity Conference, which will be September 22nd and 23rd. So we're really proud that we will be featuring our students. So thank the club and the members for making that possible. And I think that's enough for now. So thank you.
Chair, one thing, so we got Christie's technical issues worked out, so she's now a panelist on.
Oh, okay.
She was with us and now she's engaged.
Okay, so Chrissy, can you hear us and can we hear you?
Yep, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me
Sorry for
okay?
the issues. Thank you for joining us though.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions for Ginger? Her report?
One quick question.
Go ahead.
Parent Square, is it open to public meeting, for public records request?
Anything that schools do is open to public.
Just making sure. Thanks.
However,
Any-
confidentiality applies to
There's,
students.
there's a way of filtering out.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do we have any idea how many credit hours were earned this summer?
I want to say 74.
I think we had like 70 courses.
Yeah.
You know, which would be each a half a credit, but 70 courses, about 35 to 40 credits.
Cool.
And we're still getting some in that the teachers are going and reviewing what the kids have done and grad point.
Good, thank you. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just kind
Yeah,
of wanted,
no, yeah.
I'm assuming we're still trying to get kids over the finish line, so yeah, yep. Which is a good thing. So. Okay, moving on to item number 6, department reports. And it looks like Irma is up, so.
Getting fully mobile.
Yes, I am. I can walk faster every day. I feel it. People are always commenting on how fast I'm walking. That's good news for me. So thank you very much. Good evening. So I am here to share a summary of the Oregon Department of Education English Learners in Oregon Annual Report. And so the report is with data from 2020-21 school year. However, the report was available in June of 2022. And so I am just going to go ahead. Oh, thank you so much, Linda. I believe that you must be moving the slides for me. So for the English Learners Report, there is actually a link in the slideshow. The link will take you to the report that is available on our school website. So we also have a hard copy available at the district office with Diane as well. The report itself is divided into 5 sections with data, different types of data for our English learners. In the report, our emergent bilinguals are referred to as English learners. So you will hear me go back and forth. Emergent bilinguals are students who have other languages, but are also acquiring English. Many times our students are coming in with 2, sometimes even 3 languages to our schools. So it's really wonderful to be able to celebrate that about our students. So you will hear me go back and forth. The second part of the report is about our participation for students who are in our targeted programs. Section 3 is with English language development, and then the academic outcomes and how our students are progressing academically. Attendance and also progress towards graduation, graduation data, and then what is happening with our students after they graduate from our high schools. And then the very last section 5 is about the expenditures and how the state allocates funding for our emergent bilinguals in our districts. Next slide, please. And so in section 1, we're looking at the data around our English learners, our emergent bilinguals. There are actually about 53,000 students in the report that were current English learners enrolled in Oregon public schools for this particular report. And the majority of our emerging bilingual students are at the elementary levels. And so we have we had about 65% of students who were English learners in grades K through 5. And also around the state, there are definitely districts where we have very high enrollments of English learners or emergent bilinguals. And then there are some districts that have hardly any students, depending on where you are in Oregon. So Woodburn School District actually has the highest percentage of English learners in the state. And we have about 49% of our districts who have no English learners or very few in the state. We also have students who are, they're referred to as recent arrivers. And so when you see the recent arrivers, that just means they're students who were born outside of the United States or Puerto Rico, and they have been educated for less than 3 consecutive years. And so that also will be something that you can look at in the report. We have a decline in our students who are recent arrivers in this particular report. We also have students who are experiencing interruptions in their formal education. And so that number was 866 students. We also have students who in the state spoke 181 unique home languages. And again, though we have our students who are coming to us in our communities and in our buildings who have so much culture and wealth and knowledge and to share. And so that was really exciting to see how many languages were coming into our buildings, into our districts. And Spanish is the language that is mostly spoken from our English learners. The highest number of English learners was actually in Salem Kaiser School District, Beaverton, and Portland, because they are larger districts. However, if we're looking at percentages, it actually was Woodburn who had the largest percentage, which they are our neighbors. Next slide, please. When we're looking at programs that serve our students, one of them is special education services. And so we're looking at students who have been in the program at some point in time. So students who have been in the program and maybe they have exited or maybe they are still in the program are called ever English learners. And so when we're looking at students who have ever been an English learner compared to students who have never been in the program, they are receiving special education services at about the same rate. We also have students who are currently English learners, and they are receiving special education at a slightly increased rate in the 2021 school year.
I'm sorry. I tried to look this up and I didn't understand. What is a never English learner in the context here?
So a student who has never received English language development services through an English learner program. So sometimes if you see some of our state documents and data from past years might have said English only students. Sometimes it was
So just
referred, so
somebody
students
who is native English speaker.
who has never been in the English learner program, correct?
Okay, yeah, so I would be like, because I don't speak Spanish, I would be a never English learner if I was,
Correct.
okay, I'm sorry, just
No,
trying to be
that's
clear about exactly where everybody is. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. And so as I was saying, so sometimes when we have programs that are serving our students, it's really important to be able to look at this kind of data because it gives us an indication of how we are serving our emergent bilinguals compared to students who have never been in the English learner program. So 11% of our current English learners receive services also in migrant education. current English learners rarely receive services for talented and gifted programs. So we have less than 1% of our English learners who are eligible to receive services through TAG in the 2021 school year. And never English learners were 24 times more likely to be eligible than current English learners in a TAG program.
Sorry, what was that last statistic? So 20 times? more likely?
24 times more likely.
Sorry.
Sure.
A question?
Yes.
Can you help us understand why the lack of eligibility exists? I mean, why are they not eligible?
There are many factors, and sometimes when you're looking at the identification, which is how you know whether you're eligible to receive program services, many times it can be looking at what the identification process might be in a district. Again, you might look at enrollment numbers as well. So depending on what district you are in, or if there are, how many English learners there are, what those supports look like. But I would say that the identification is very important, and having an understanding of the criteria for being eligible for a program is a place to start.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful. I mean, just so I'm clear. So, I mean, is it an issue of understanding what the eligibility requirements are, or is it an issue of not meeting those eligibility requirements?
I think it's more complex than that. I do think that it is something that we all need to be looking at and maybe digging a little bit deeper into questioning. So your question is spot on to start, thinking about the reasons for that, and having those conversations is very important.
Okay, thank you.
And the other area that was mentioned was the free and reduced meal program. So current and former English learners are more likely than never English learners to be eligible for free and reduced price meals. And overall, we have about 86% of our current English learners come from economically disadvantaged households. Next slide, please. Section 3 is about the language development itself, and then what's happening with our students academically and their achievements. So when we're talking about long-term, which is mentioned in this section, a student who is a long-term English learner is an emergent bilingual student who receives English language development instruction and support in an ELD program for more than 7 years. So long-term English learners made up about 20% of our English learners. Approximately 15% of current English learners receive special education and support services, and then developed proficiency and exited the program in 6 years. Next slide, please. The next section is about attendance and progress towards graduation, and what is happening with the data about graduation, and then what is happening with our students beyond graduation, and kind of keeping track of how our students are performing, and then what's happening even after graduation for our students. So students who had been in the English Learner Program graduated at rates similar to or better than students who were never in the English Learner Program. And fewer emergent bilingual students graduated in 4 years. There's also mention of the seal of biliteracy. So a seal of biliteracy is an Oregon State seal that is on diplomas for students if they meet all the graduation requirements, but they also need to demonstrate reading and writing skills in English, and they need to score at an intermediate high level in listening, speaking, reading, and writing in a partner language. So that means they are graduating from high school bilingual and at least two languages. Sometimes students even have another language with them. So we had, for the seal of biliteracy, students had knowledge of 20 partner languages in the report, and it seemed that Spanish was the most common partner language where students received that seal of biliteracy. 9 districts had 50 or more students earning a seal of biliteracy upon graduation. And for North Marion last year, we had 10 North Marion graduates earning the seal of biliteracy. So that was really wonderful. We also have students who, when they leave North Marion or when they leave any of our districts, we have never English learners more likely to enroll in post-secondary education than students who are current English learners or who have been English learners in the past. So that section of the report is really interesting. And even though it's not one of the longer ones, it's about 33 pages. So there have been longer. So it's really valuable. I myself found it really interesting to go through, and it just really gives opportunity for good questions, right? Or to think about how this relates to the students here at North Marion. Okay, next slide. And so the last section here is in regard to state funding and revenues. So Section 5 gives information on how this Oregon School State Fund allocates monies to districts, and then on average, funding per student was $8,754 during that year. And in addition to this funding, districts also received $4,377 per current English learner in the year 2021. And so if you read through that section, you can see how that funding is, how it's weighted with the ADM. And so if you go through that, you can see. And so next slide. And that is the information I have for you in the summary. Thank you for your time. And do you have any questions for me that you can think of?
Question?
Go ahead, Richard.
Oh, thank you. Just a question on the enrollment statistics that you mentioned. That enrollment, it counts students that have been accepted to a post-secondary institution. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I'm just thinking, I mean, would it be fair to say that those statistics in some respects sort of reflect the admission policies of those post-secondary institutions, as well as, you know, kind of the support that they're getting from the, you know, primary, you know, secondary education system?
That could be a factor.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
So I don't want to put you on the spot here. I'm just
Sure.
curious, like, at what point in the year have you identified usually your English language learners for the, you know, for the year?
And so what we usually do at the beginning of every school year, each district has 30 days to identify students who are incoming at the beginning of the school year. So that would be when we are looking at home language surveys. And so that would be our first indication in buildings that a student is hearing or speaking another language other than English. And that is based on the parents answering questions on that home language survey. And then after that process, then we would identify students who would be eligible for testing, language testing. And so the language test that we use is the state language test, and that is the ELPA screener. And that is the test that all public schools use in Oregon for identification. And then from there, we would get results for testing, and that would let us know what proficiency level the student is, whether they in fact are at a level where they would qualify for language services in an English learner program, or whether they are proficient in English and so they would not qualify. If they are coming in during the school year, however, so if it's December, then we would have a shorter period of time, but it wouldn't be the same as the beginning of the year when we're getting so many students, and especially at our elementary school where we have kindergarten in particular, was one whole grade level of students we've never seen before. So we would have more home language surveys to go through for that grade level and more testing, much more testing than the other buildings.
Thank you.
Yes.
Speculation, obviously, but I'll ask anyway. So if you look at the demographics for North Marion, these are state numbers you're presenting here.
That's correct.
Would you consider us leaning more towards the state numbers or more towards the Woodburn numbers, which are obviously dramatically higher for obvious reasons? Would you consider us more in the Woodburn camp or just the state average?
I would say that we are closer to Woodburn numbers, and we share a lot of the same students. They actually go back and forth quite a bit. And because we actually serve part of Woodburn, we would be more in line with the Woodburn area. We don't have as many students as Woodburn does. We actually have, at the end of last year, we had 341 students who were current English learners. And if you look at our state report card, we usually are around 34% of students who are ever English learners.
I'm kind of leaning on the long-term ones, and the percentage we have of long-term and the percentage that we can put into TAC.
I would say that they're comparable.
Okay, with Woodburn.
And so we have, I'm not sure what their long-term English learners are, but we definitely have students who are long-term English learners in our district who have been in the English learner program for quite some time, beyond the 7 years.
I'm curious, when you say we have students who go back and forth between here and Woodburn, is that because they're physically moving their residence or because they're transferring back and forth? I'm just kind of trying to get a handle on that.
I believe it is both. And so that would be just from my experience of working with students. I know that we have students who do move in and out of the district who come back and forth. So we are sending Hume files and then they're bringing them back. And so that does happen. But we do also have, I know parents who have spoken to me and other ELD teachers and asked about dual language, programs. And so sometimes that might be the reason that they are wanting to go to the Woodburn School District.
Thank you.
Sure.
A little quick statistic. Based on last year's numbers, 1 out of every 5 students is an English learner, which means in any particular classroom you have 4 or maybe 5 English learners in the classroom.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank
Appreciate
you.
All right, moving along, item number 7 is board action. We actually have a revision to the calendar because of contract language. Yeah, let's deal with that as an item first. So
They will need a motion to
I was gonna
approve.
say, does somebody want to encapsulate
I'll
that?
make a motion that
Motion.
we revise the 2022-2023 contract year calendar, or the academic calendar, based on the adopted contract, making October 14th, 2022, a non-contract day.
Take your second.
Second?
Motion is second. Is there any discussion?
So to be clear, it's a non-contract day, that is a non-student contact day. Is that a Friday by any chance?
Yes,
Yeah.
just state waiting service day.
Yeah. Okay, so is football on Thursday?
A lot of schools have football on Thursday that weekend. Yeah.
And when will we have the day that they're gonna put back on?
We have to convene a committee to get together and work that out. Just have to figure out, is it going to be in the second trimester or the third trimester? You know, we have to look at, because of the high school schedule, they have to pick that day really carefully. So that will be upcoming, hopefully by the next meeting. Worked out.
Yeah, the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to start school.
Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Bill?
Aye.
Ricardo?
Aye.
Crystal?
Apprehensive,
Richard?
Aye.
Heidi?
Hi.
Christie?
Aye.
Votes for. That motion carries. Thank you. On that same note, we have an agenda, but we chatted about this at our retreat about moving our work session to the same night as our business meeting, having the work session happen for an hour and then our business meeting. Is there any discussion on that, or is there any stomach for a motion to make that happen tonight?
Do you need a motion for that?
That's just consensus.
Yeah.
Okay,
But we do need our calendar.
but we do have to change our calendar, correct? Because you have
Hey,
dates already scheduled up. Go ahead, Christy.
yeah, are you talking on a recurring basis or just one specific week?
We talked about trying it on a trial basis to see how things went.
Okay. Yep, I'd be game for that. Just curious.
Okay, so if we don't need to motion this through, let's plan then in October, we will begin with a work session as the first hour of the meeting, and then move into a business meeting, and we will not have a work session then in October later on in the month. Is that agreeable to everybody?
So
Sure,
do
we meet even.
So is that at 6 a.m.?
September, I
Is the
think-
work session at 6?
We will still probably have a work session in September because we have some issues to go through. But our next regular business meeting will include the work session.
And what week would that be? First, second, third, fourth?
It's still the second Monday of the month, October 10th.
October 10th.
So just so I'm clear, we're meeting at 5. We're gonna have an hour,
No, I think we're gonna meet at 6.
are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cause I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
So
I think we'll keep the time the same. We may go slightly longer.
so the work session will start at
6.
Okay,
Yes,
Yeah.
work session 6.
okay.
If we can
For my
be
calendar,
disciplined and hold to an hour, then our business meeting would start at 7.
I don't know. I don't.
So if you would at least mix that, Diane, the work session that is scheduled in October, remove that from the date that it's on. I don't know if that exists on our district calendar, but it doesn't. Okay. Anyway, thank you for entertaining me.
Yep,
Go ahead, Christy.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, just a follow up on the district calendar. When we're talking about changing these student days, just because I'm unfamiliar, how quickly will that be reflected on the website district calendar?
the website district calendar. We'll probably do a communication that that date was changed and then it will be on there the same day.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
You got another question? Yeah, just to follow up with that. So I think we need to, because the reader board and the website, they all say our work session, our business meetings are at 6. So we would need to make sure that's 7, because, yeah, so that would have to be.
We'll need to communicate, so let people know about it.
Yeah.
The
And
first
I feel
hour
sorry
will
for you
be-
guys. If that affects you.
We're giving them one evening back though.
Yeah, it's true. Well, they don't come to work sessions.
That's true, sorry.
Well,
It
they're
doesn't have to
probably
be in
not
order,
happy.
in my opinion.
What's that?
The business meetings can come first and we can follow the business meeting with our workshop. It's just something to try later after we try this first round.
Yeah, let's see how the first one goes and
Yeah, I'm
we
just
can adjust it,
suggesting.
yeah. I appreciate you indulging me on that, so. We have a Pacific Automation copy machine lease. Do you actually need a motion on that, Diane? You told me, okay.
I do. Yes. Our copy machines are getting old and tired. We used them a lot through COVID, so it's time for some new machines. The lease is up in a couple months anyway, but we wanted to get this approved. It takes a while to get the machines. Like everybody else, supply is a problem. And so we want to get this going so that hopefully we get them in November or December. The good news is that we're going to get the same amount of machines. They're going to go a little bit faster than the ones we have, and we're going to save about $300 a month on the lease of them, with the cost per copy being the same amount as what we had at the last lease. So we'd like you to approve this.
I'll make a motion that board approve the Pacific Office Automation copy machine lease and the memo copy machine lease as presented.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Bill?
Aye.
Ricardo?
Aye.
Crystal?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Harold's for, motion carries. Thank you. Strategic plan goals for 2022 through 2025. I don't know if you want to lead that discussion a little bit.
Yeah, just, Christie, I will get this information to you. I have drafted a goal based on the work that we did at the retreat for your review and feedback. And in summary, in order to support the strategic plan moving forward, the board has identified a theory of action the same way that the strategic planning committee identified a theory of action about how the board's activities will lead to the outcomes that the board hopes to achieve in the same manner by identifying a goal to focus on, activities that would support the understanding of the goal and moving the goal forward. And then as this draft is refined underneath the activities, we would select indicators of those activities. And those would be the things that we would measure differences in as we go through the year. So specifically, the activities, without going into the long paragraphs about the theory of action and how they connect, basically, but I will for the audience, multiple audiences. The board's work is designed to enhance and support the work of the superintendent and central office team as they work to support principals, so principals can support teachers, and teachers can support students and families. So that's our role, is to make sure that we are doing everything we can so that everything can be pushed to the teachers so they can do their work. Activity 1 for the board would be learning in depth about goal 1 and what it looks like in practice. Number 2, the activity 2 would be to schedule and complete community forums related to this and engagement. Activity 3 would be to schedule and complete after-school visits where you're having listening sessions for staff. and activity for schedule and complete learning walks for evidence gathering about the changes that are occurring. So that's where it is right now. So I need your feedback on those and we can talk about it at the work session.
I think it's a good start. Thank you.
Yeah.
So would this be on our September workshop agenda then to refine this one?
Yeah, probably refine element maybe, yeah, so I think that's good work for us to complete at September and align this, so.
Is there an action required here? It says approve.
I think we're just gonna blunt until we work
Well,
with that,
yeah.
that's okay, I think that was kind of the gist of it.
Okay. Just making sure that we didn't have to. do it.
So we chatted just a little bit about, moving on to OSBA policy analysis. We chatted a little bit about some of our policies are very dated and have been on the books for a long time. So we both agreed that to bring it to you guys to see if you thought it was of value for us to retain policy specialists at OSBA to go through and do a thorough look through.
Yeah, I see a lot of ones from 94 still on there.
I've done one from 84.
Did you? I was like,
Pagers and Blackberries.
yeah.
I would mention some of those 1994 ones haven't been updated by OSBA yet, so they remain 1994.
And
So we update them as they send them to us, like for tonight, you know, you can get a list of the August ones. So we get updated, you know, little by little. Have we missed some? Most likely. So that's that cleanup, but there still are some that just haven't been changed.
some of
Legislation hasn't
them,
changed.
they recommend that some of, the many people that remove, they recommend you remove those policies. You just say, delete the policy.
They're not needed anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what they'll do. They will clean them up and bring us up to.
And make them relevant, so
Yeah.
in many cases.
Can I ask Diane,
Yes.
because she is our policy person,
Mhm.
how do you feel about doing this? Would you
I
support it?
think it's a great idea, because like I said, you know, we can keep up on the monthly, or actually they're kind of quarterly updates, but to take the time and go back and look at CBA, for example. You know, what did legislation do for that, or when was it updated? That's a massive amount of time. So yes, it would be very helpful. And it hasn't been done, I would say, for a good 15 years. Wow.
I'll give a shout out to Spencer Lewis and his team. They're excellent and very professional. Things.
So I would entertain a motion to put that into action.
I'll move that we retain the services of OSBA policy specialist services to conduct a policy review of our North Reading School District policies.
Second.
Motion is second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Bill?
Aye.
Ricardo? Crystal?
I,
Richard?
Aye.
I,
Christie?
Aye.
Votes for. So what kind of timeline usually on that?
I will find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wondered when we can.
I think when Hillsborough did it, it was a little over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus start time. That doesn't include start time or lead time, I should say, of collecting everything. But they are our policy archive as well, so they already have most of our stuff.
I think we should make it a goal to review our policies, and then we can check it off at the end of the year and feel really good about doing something. Something.
Well, the legislature continually updates policies on it. And it's a never ending show. It's like laundry.
Yeah.
true.
All right, moving on to item 7E, policy updates. I don't know if you want to speak to some of these in terms of reading.
Oh, I just want to say, from the this is a subset of the policies that they sent us for review for this quarterly update. And these are the ones that are identified as being required and, or highly recommended. And those are the ones that always catch my attention first. And we have an agreement that we will review them during work sessions and have our first reading during a work session. So this is just a notice to everyone of what's on the list for the work session.
Okay.
And the overview for each one of the policies that we will be reviewing is attached in the documents here and posted online so that you can take a preview of what the policies, the changes designed to do, why they need to change. And then we will discuss it at the meeting on the 16th.
Excellent.
Just FYI, I think we talked about, but I don't remember now, but it was discussed at the summer board conference in the board administration's section, what webinar, or not webinar, sorry, the pre-conference, that for large amounts of policies, you can put them in the consent agenda and they get approved through the consent agenda, and any board member can ask for an item to be pulled out of the consent agenda and drop down, so you don't have to do all that, all the blah, 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 one of the things, so that is actually an acceptable
I
practice.
remember them. Yeah, I remember
I've seen
that.
that before. Yeah.
Yeah, so if there was a policy that you wanted some debate on, you could just pull that out
Yeah.
and deal with that on an individual basis. If there was stuff that you literally were just
With the
going to,
consent
you know,
agenda,
go through,
everything
yeah,
just
just the
goes
required
through.
stuff, so.
And I think if we list them and then provide information online for people to have the opportunity to look at them before we do that.
No, I was just saying, for me anyways, my opinion would be in first reading, when we do it in work session, as was proposed, we go through and talk, but then
Yeah.
for the second reading and adoption, we just boom, and
Yeah.
unless somebody wants to pull one out
Yeah.
for a further discussion. Just thought I'd remind everybody of that.
Yeah, that's how I've been to other ones.
Since we're gonna start our board meetings at 7:00 then, so.
You're so good at knowing all that.
All right, so updating this calendar, not updating, we are in fact having a meeting on the 27th. It'll be our
Yeah, but we can do it in one.
potentially last work session on an off night. But that one will go through a schedule, and then we'll have a regular meeting along with a work session on October 10th for clarity's sake, so.
And then that's same for November 28th? Or are we just gonna do it 1 month?
I think
Do you wanna do
personally,
it?
it's not my decision personally, you know, together, but
I suggested it for a couple of months.
Yeah,
Try
I
it.
thought
I mean,
maybe we'd do
usually
it
a
till
test changes.
thought
like
maybe we'd do it
2
for
or
the
3
first of the
months.
year and
Okay.
see how that works. If that's doable for everybody and it saves everybody a night out, I think that would be, I think it's worth looking at, so.
Item D. This is,
We don't have that.
okay,
Policy analysis?
no, all right. I just have one. I just want, is that important? Do you want to, no.
So what are we doing now? What, sorry, I missed it. What are we doing now for E? 7.
No, that's the end.
We're good.
That's the
We're
agenda.
saying-
End of the
We're
agenda.
done. Yeah.
Okay, so nobody had any
Yeah.
comments about the first reading? Do we need to approve the first reading?
No, we're not.
We're not gonna do it.
To work session.
That's
Work
what you said.
session.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna wait for.
This was just some pre-information, so.
Okay.
I have material. to-
Yeah, everybody can be prepared with material, so. So that information was kind of ahead of time. So anybody else have any other business that needs to come before us tonight? Otherwise, it is 7:09 and I will adjourn us if that's the case. So thanks everybody for being here and we're adjourned.
Thank you.